There we go. Chiantamo, Halito, Rahubat, Shalom, Assalamu alaikum, hello, all of that good stuff. So let's build. Give me like 30 seconds. Like all right, so just something simple on y'all see the titles, restructuring the clan system. This title was made minutes ago, not minutes ago, but days ago. I deleted it, so I just put it back on there for having a certain encounter, which deals with a video I made earlier. So now we're gonna drop some real information on it and on how these things actually work. Um, Last night I was in a group with the Sabian Yamassee, or the people that call themselves the Sabians. I'm Nuwapian by study, but I am not Nuwapian or Sabian by belief or anything like that, right? So after finally talking to me in the comments and shit like that, right? Um, they finally allowed me into their chat. So when I get into the chat and I can speak, there are about 6 mediators or moderators or whatever. And Mario was already upset because he knew where this was going. And the question I've asked, which was one question, is how does a tribe without a clan system function? Now, the reason this question was asked is because one Nuwapian Sabian Yamasia say, well, Dr. York is Clay Clan. We are all Clay Clan. We were adopted by his family. Some people will say, well, we have the Wind and the Bird clan. And then some will say that there are no clans. And this can be found in screenshots. This also can be found on their posts, right? So with that being said, the answer I was given is that the Sabians do their own thing. They're Yamassee by way of Malachi York or Dr. York. So as that was answered, I then proceeded to ask, well, if Dr. York is your chief, that means that you are his clan brother by way of his mother, whether birth or adopted. And if he's all of you all's chief, that means all of you all are brothers and sisters based on clan and tribal law. He proceeds to ask, whose tribal law? Say, well, the Yamassee's tribal law, the Cherokee's tribal law.
Let's say that there's a young woman from the Wolf Clan over here whose family is Wolf Clan, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. She would specifically steer clear of Wolf Clan folks and marry from all of the other clans. That's where she would seek spouses. That's where spouses would seek her because they were looking for someone that they were not blood related to, right?
In order for a tribe to actually function, there
According
must be
to
a
what?
clan system, right?
According to
According to
what?
tribal law. If
Whose
you're
tribal
Yamasee,
law?
if you're Yamasee,
Whose
if you're
tribal law?
Muskogee, if you're Iroquois,
Who?
if you're
Whose tribal
Catawba,
law?
the tribal law is all the
Whose
same.
tribal law?
If I
Who?
just answered it for you. You're continuing asking me the
Whose
question. I'm
tribal
answering
law?
it.
You acting like it's written down somewhere, like a tribal book,
Okay,
like it's a
perfect.
holy
So watch
Bible.
this. The tribal law wasn't given to us written down. It was given to us through oral. Cherokee boy living in the town was not taught by his father. He was taught by the other men of his town, particularly his mother's brother. But this is why that's important, bro. This is why the question is important. It says it was through the mother that he gained clan identity, which afforded him citizenship. There were 7 of these clans. One did not marry within one's own clan,
Mm.
for the members were family. So, what was the last question I asked? So, how are y'all having sex and mating if y'all all in the same what? Clan. says one did not marry within one's own clan, for the members were family, right? So that's already been addressed. It says in each of these 43 Cherokee towns, these seven were represented. So every town had these clans. Say the members of the Bird clan were responsible for feeding and protecting and serving the needs of the members of the Bird family. The women were in charge of their own houses and owned the children. Communal areas were set aside for each woman and her daughters to raise vegetables, and the women cooked meals and cared for the babies. The men were in charge of a boy's training. In the town for the boys, in a town, the boys of all seven clans or families were sometimes trained together, sometimes singularly. So, with that, listen to this. So it says, this is about the clan system. This is exactly why I asked about the clan system. So it says, just as the towns and their and their associated rituals became more important in historic Creek culture, the Mississippian collapse appears to have led to the elaboration of the clan system. Here we go. The Creeks reckoned kinship according to matrilineal rules, whereby a child assumed the clan affiliations of his or his mother's clan. In a matrilineal system, the child's biological father was not looked upon as a blood relative and played less of a role in preparing his child for adulthood. Young Creek boys were instead often prepared for adulthood by their mother's brothers, clan uncles, who gave instructions, meted out discipline, and likely educated the youngsters in the tales of his ancestors' exploits. A Creek girl, likewise, would have been instructed in female responsibilities by her mother, her related aunts, and other female clan members. Clan affiliation was of utmost importance to the Creeks because clan membership gave an individual his or her identity, determined who that person could marry, dictated ceremonial obligations, and in the case of male clan members, determined who he was obligated to defend or revenge in times of war. Because Creeks typically labored together in small kinship units, clan membership determined which agricultural fields one could cultivate and influenced the makeup of hunting parties. And because the Creeks typically invested individual clans with particular political titles, which clans guarded as a kind of property, clan affiliation was often determined which political offices an individual was eligible to hold throughout the course of his or her life. Law, the so-called Muskogee people, tribal law, every one of us know that your bloodline runs through your mother. Now, sometimes in many cases you can be adopted by another family and or your father's family. But let's keep it simple. Let's restructure the clan system. Had these people actually been Yamassee and living their original way, there would be a clan system. Now, these clans may vary. There are many clans that made up what we know as the Yamassee. The many seven current clans that make up the Cherokee, but then different nations have their clans, but all the whole clan system functions together because the clans eventually broke off or became different nations. So, say for instance, you have Nkoshikli, right? That would be Bear Clan Yamassee. This means my mother is Bear Clan, my mother's mother, and all of the women in that way through the matriarchal bloodline or through the matriarch's bloodline is that way, which means that my sister and I have the same clan. So if I date a woman or mate with a woman to go get a woman, she has to come from somewhere outside of my family. Now, say that woman that I'm going to get is a part of my clan. Technically, she's my clan sister. Trying to explain this to the new or to Mario and the Sabians made them say, well, we don't go by that law. So like, okay, if you don't go by tribal law, whose law do you go by? The answer was Patrak, the way. This is a law that was recently created by Malachi York for Nubians. We're talking about Nubians. What you did was change the name from Nubian or Nubian to Sabian and then switched it and say, well, this is our law for the Sabians. Now, this is the perfect part. It's actually documented, right? It's actually documented. And what's documented on the video, he says, well, we have no clans. A woman proceeds to ask him once they kick me out of the on the line chat. She said, well, basically, like, what are the clans? Like, what is the clan system? Mario proceeds to lie to this lady. He says, you see Sabian Yamassee? Sabian is our clan. They're just upset that they aren't the authority for what we're doing. Mario, that's 110% incorrect. Sabian is not a Yamassee clan. Just as earlier, see, you feel like I talk in circles, but it's coming around full force, right? Just as you have no bird clan and no wind clan because you say you have no clans, but then you say Sabian was the clan. But then we have pictures and documents of them saying that Dr. York was Yamassee Clay Clan, and there is no Yamassee Clay Clan, so we're trying to figure out where it's coming from. Then you have the Altama Yamassee that use the Sabian language as theirs, call it Hachichi, and said that they are from the Aha clan or the Moon clan. There is no Moon clan Yamassee. So when niggas talk about restructuring the clan system, those who actually know, those that actually know what's going on, that know how these things function, have no problem answering questions. Yet those who do not have the answers, instead of saying, hey, young brother, teach me, they will say, you're attacking me. My thing is this: if I am Nuapian by way of study, and I'm supposed to study opinion, study truths, study facts, and study the unknown to make it known to myself, why wouldn't I question the things that aren't right? Why would I sit by and allow someone to pretend or play with another person's culture that can be detrimental to them? So what if someone says, okay, I'm Yamassee. Now everybody think that you're in the same group as the people that don't know about the culture that they're claiming. When I ask Mario, I say, well, how can you have your own? How can you make your own way when the four brothers told the Yamassee, if you stop living this way, then you will cease to exist? So if the Yamassee even stopped practicing the culture that was given to them by their deities, then that culture would cease to exist. Further proof is showing that that culture exists not within the Sabian nation because of what? They speak not the language. They practice not the ways. One even denied that the four brothers gave knowledge. These same people or these same deities or deities are the same ones that saved the Muskogee when they traveled from west to east. The Muskogee didn't meet Yahola. They didn't meet Hayuha until they start to travel out east. So my question again remains the same. How did you function without a clan system? I done got through the bullshit you said. So let's talk about how to rebuild the clan system. First thing you do is go sit with your elders. The reason you sit with your elders, because that bloodline ran through the elders before it ran through you. You need to go sit with your elders, talk to them, uncles, aunties, great cousins, grandmas, all of that good shit. You start to build up your paperwork. Start to slowly build your paperwork. Don't do it too fast because you will make mistakes. Some people's names are spelled different. Some people date of birth or a year may be off +1 to +5, -1, -5. So what you do is you get on someone's computer, you start searching these things, you take your notes and you go and you build up an archive for your own family, for your own DNA, your own lineage. Once you build that archive up, you take that archive and bring it back to the elders in the family, telling you this by experience. Now, once you bring this to the elders in the family, the elders have already told you you're either Cherokee, you're Yamassee, you're Yuchi, you're Creek, And we know Creek is a British creation out of the Yamassee. Uh, we know that Muskogee is also they're latecomers. We know the Seminoles are very latecomers. So with that being said, you go talk to him, ask him, okay, so what tribe is it said that we come from? You study that tribe in depth. You start to see the lands in which these tribes ran, which tribes lived, ate, where they hunted. Then you start to understand their culture. You go to your grandparents' land, how I visit Kolomoki and seeing the mounds, and then went to Mandeville, all in Clay County. You see what I'm saying? You build that up and you go talk to your ancestors. Not even your ancestors, but your ancient ones, the ones that are still currently here. You see what I'm saying? You go talk to your ancient ones and let them assist you in building up this genealogy report. So let's say, right, because I had this question before. Let's say if you can't find one document stating that your people were Indian or from a particular tribe, then what you do is say, okay, let me go talk to the elders that got this information directly. And I'm going to write down what the fuck my elders said. Because these elders had no choice on what was being put on their census. These elders had no choice on whether they were Negro, black, or colored. Hell, even mulatto. We've even seen that we got ancestors that's Indian, as Chinese, Native American, and Negro all at the same time. It makes no sense. So this is how you start rebuilding. Now you done showed your elders the documents with their names on it. So you're refreshing their mind. Okay, auntie, 1920 it say such and such and such and such. This is your mother, grandmother. 1880 it says 1870, 1860, you start going back. Now, the further you go back, the better, because the further you go back, it gives you more of a point of origin. You do have people moving out of what we know as South Carolina into Georgia, and or a lot of people don't know Franklin, like Franklin County, like the northern Georgia, Franklin County, Hart, Georgia, Elbert, Madison, all of that encompass South Carolina, or what we consider Carolina. It was the savannah that eventually was made the dividing line between the lands. However, the Muskogee, the Cherokee didn't see any separation between that land. Hell, I keep quoting the Conjurer when he say that he didn't fight the Yamassee because there was an ancient people. So take that information, right? You put it together and you start to build it up. So now you say, okay, you know what? Let me go find some people that's actually within these tribes and I can ask questions. This is where I got lucky at, because before I could even ask questions, I posted a place where my ancestors, where my grandmother's ancestors are from. And there's a guy, he's enrolled Yamassee, and he commented on the post. He said, "Hey, you my cousin." I'm like, what? Say, I don't know you. You get what I'm saying? But he hit me up. He like, look, your ancestors from here, here, and here. This is what happened to them, and this is why your story is incomplete. So again, did more in-depth research. Go talk to my auntie Joyce. She's married into the family through my uncle Al, my uncle Albert Davis. And as she explained, she's like, look, you have grandfathers that were lynched or that were ran off or that were never seen again for the simple fact that they own land here in Clay County, Georgia. And she was like, when you come here, I want you to go to Kolomoki Mounds. It's going to be a map. And on that map, it's going to show you how the Walter F. George Reservoir is encompassed in what was called the Kolomoki Nation. And when I went there and seen that, it was big to me because it's like, okay, well, my aunt just told me that my people who are originally from here, she said y'all blood is indigenous and you have some African in you, which is also why I feel the way I feel about the Negro Creek, Negro Black Creek, Black Seminole shit, whatever. But again, read